Go on, you start us off with your going.
Okay, who have I gone for? Yeah. So I've gone for Aaron Ramsdale.
He's got as many Premier League titles as there's players on the pitch. Like, that is outrageous.
Granit Xhaka.
Sambi Lokonga. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Box2Box podcast. As you can see, I'm joined with a different co-host today. Well, he's a guest on the show, our first ever guest. This is Michael.
Hello, George. Thanks for having me.
Michael is also a fellow Arsenal fan.
I am.
So although we have no Ben today, we do have an Arsenal presence still on the podcast.
Absolutely.
Michael.
Yes, George.
Who are you?
I'm Michael.
Good job. Good
Yeah.
start.
Anything else you want me to expand?
Where did you grow up?
I grew up, well, I was born in Somerset, in the West Country.
Oh.
Yeah, but I didn't stay there for very long. And then I lived in Nottingham from 1 to 4, and then from then I grew up in Essex, where you grew up.
Yeah.
Up until now.
Growing up,
Yep.
what sports did you play?
Pretty much any sport under the sun that involved a ball. So football, tennis, cricket, golf. Dabbled in the school hockey team. That was terrible, but exactly.
So go on then, what's your job now?
Well, I kind of followed that theme on when leaving school, so I'm now a tennis coach.
Full-time tennis coach,
Full-time tennis coach here in sunny Essex. And then I also so that's my number one thing, and then I try and expand it a little bit by getting more people into sport in general.
So for some of you, you may know him as Michael, but for others of you, you may know him as Mr. Sport. So what is Mr. Sport, Mike?
Well, Mr. Sport, this is the little logo of Mr. Sport. Firstly, the name. A lot of people have got confused over this in the past. And they've basically thought that I've called myself Mr. Sport because I'm a bit arrogant and I just love sport, which is not the case, because MR is my initials. So originally it was MR Sport, but it rolls off the tongue better, Mr. Sport. It's a better name.
It's a better name.
It's a better name. So it's not, there is a reason behind it. But basically what Mr. Sport is, primarily it is tennis, to do with tennis. So getting people into tennis, helping them improve. But I like to expand that a little bit further into as many different sports as I can. Just trying to, I think there's a sport out there for everyone. Even if you're not playing a sport, there's definitely a sport that you can enjoy. Whether it's as little as like rounders at the park or something. So I try and, through different ways, get more people into sport.
So, Michael,
Yeah,
your Mr. Sport has a bit of content created with it.
a little bit.
Where these lovely people watching the podcast, they may never, surprisingly, they may never have heard of Mr. Sport, which would be a bit of a shock.
That would be a shock.
But if they wanted to check out some of your
Yeah.
content, or they wanted to get into a sport, or they wanted to get into tennis in particular, where would they go to find some of this content?
Well, this is actually, you don't even know this, to be fair. This is kind of new. Originally it was all on YouTube. So that was where I started doing some YouTube videos, a bit of coaching, a bit of a few other sports, some trick shots and things like that. I've actually kind of moved away from that a little bit. I've kind of taken a few of them off YouTube. I've left one on, PC Freestyle, but because YouTube will now be a lot more irregular. I mean, I've had a massive break from YouTube anyway. But if there's something to go on YouTube, it would be more for a reason as opposed to just to post something.
Yeah.
So I'll keep checking that out, I guess. But mostly it will be on social media.
Okay.
So Facebook, Instagram, and mostly TikTok. So kind of looking at those shorter clips, a little bit more regular than what YouTube was like. Yeah. So that's.
Yeah. And what do you have a website? Or
Not at the moment. Watch this space.
Watch this space.
Watch
Okay.
this space. Yeah.
So then, Mr. Sport.
Yes.
What's your favourite sport?
Oh, I never know how to answer this one. My favourite sport, I think, is probably football. So that was my main sport growing up. I probably, as a junior, played football to the highest level. But then when I was about 14, I just didn't grow and everyone else grew. And football's quite a physical sport, so I struggled in that aspect. That was when I focused more on tennis. But I think if you asked me the sport I enjoyed most, or enjoy most now, it probably would be football.
Which is a good thing, because it's a football podcast.
Exactly.
And today,
Yes.
we're talking about
Go on.
Premier League all-time 11.
Yeah.
It's not an easy topic to talk about.
It's not an easy
It's not an easy
topic.
topic to come down on.
In every position.
But we're going to be talking about both of our Premier League all-time 11. We're going to run through from goalkeeper all the way through to striker and
Or false nine.
or false nine, and a manager as well.
Oh, goodness.
A manager. Just before we get started today, we did mention you're an Arsenal fan earlier.
Yeah.
So I prepared a few questions
Yeah.
to test Michael's knowledge about Arsenal.
Yeah.
So, got 3 categories of questions.
Okay.
Shouldn't take too long. First question.
Yeah.
Who wears number 18 for Arsenal this season?
Who wears number 18? Goodness. 18. Oh my goodness. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Do they start? Have they
Yeah.
started in the first 2 games?
No.
They haven't, but they would start.
But they would be considered to start, yeah, definitely.
Tomiyasu.
Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu with a hint, Tomiyasu. Number 9.
Half a point.
Halfway. Number 9. Who wears number 19?
Nicola Pepe.
Nicola Pepe, it is.
Come on. 2
What?
for 2.
2 for 2. I'm now going to give you
Yeah.
a set of clubs, including one of the clubs of the Arsenal.
Yeah.
You're going to work out
Who the player
who
is.
the player is.
Yeah. In order, clubs?
Yeah, the clubs are in
Okay.
order. Southampton, Arsenal, Middlesbrough, Fulham, Villa.
Callum Chambers.
Very good. He knows his stuff. He knows his stuff.
I almost stopped you at Southampton, and I thought you were going to say
Okay.
Walcott.
Okay, and finally, top scorers. Got 3 questions for this one.
Yeah.
Who was Arsenal's top scorer last season?
Bukayo Saka.
For bonus points, share how many goals he scored last
All
season?
comps?
Just Premier League.
Just Premier League. 11?
11. Let's take it back 5 seasons. It's the 17-18 season.
Okay.
He was the top scorer.
17-18. I've got 3 names in my head.
Okay.
I've got Aubameyang,
Okay.
because I can't actually remember when he joined. I've got... Go on.
Aubameyang joined, but I'm sure he joined in the January of that season.
Okay.
So he was.
So it's either
Could be Aubameyang.
Lacazette or Olivier Giroud. They're my 2 options. So I don't think it could be anyone else. Sanchez left in January. I'm gonna go for. Oh, when did Giroud leave? No, Giroud left. Lacazette.
Lacazette. And how many goals did Lacazette score?
Oh, me, like.
For a bonus point.
For in the Premier League.
Yeah.
15.
14.
I was gonna say
So
14.
close. One more question.
Go on.
Take it back 10 years. So 5 and 10.
2022. No, 2012.
2012-2013 season.
Yeah.
Who was your top scorer? A little hint. This was the season
After Van Persie.
after Van Persie left
Top goal scorer.
for Arsenal.
So again, 3 names. It's either Podolski, Giroud or Walcott. I think. Don't think there was anyone else. Unless Yaya Sonogo had a blinder. I don't think that's likely. No! Oh no, that's the season after. I'm going to go Walcott.
Is it? How many goals?
Theo, that season in the Premier League, got 17. 14. Again, his number. I'll take that. 100%.
That's pretty good. I'll give you that. It's very good. Right. You can see Mike clearly does have some good football knowledge.
What do you worry about the Arsenal? I know myself.
And, right then, we get cracking on the Premier League. Premier League all-time 11. I think it's only right to start at goalie.
Goalie, yeah. Who's going first?
Go on, you start us off with your goalie.
Okay, who have I gone for? Yeah. So I've gone for Aaron Ramsdale, and I think no, I've gone. So this was actually the one that I was not most unsure about. I've jumped a bit on the bandwagon because I've gone Schmeichel, and I say I've jumped on the bandwagon because I never saw Schmeichel play. So I'm going based on history, stories I've heard, stats a little bit, what he did in the Premier League and the Champions League and stuff. The 2 other names that came to mind were Cech and Van der Sar. In my time, they were probably the best I've seen in the Premier League, but I've gone for Schmeichel.
So I also went for Schmeichel. Just a few accolades written down. 5 Premier Leagues.
Yeah.
Premier League Player of the Season as a goalie, which is pretty unheard of.
Very impressive.
128 Premier League clean sheets.
Yeah.
Also a Champions League winner and 3 times FA Cup winner. Played 310 games in the Premier League.
There you go.
Longevity. And played Division 1. But
yeah. So there you
still,
go.
310. I also had Petr Cech written down, but I also had David Seaman.
Yeah.
And then for recent, more current players, Alisson has probably revolutionised what a Premier League goalkeeper looks like, in that he plays completely differently.
Yeah.
With ball at his feet.
Yeah.
And sweeper, and is asked to do so much more than what these guys would ask to, and therefore in a Premier League all-time 11 nowadays, if you look in terms of playing now, you probably look at Alisson, but he has only been in the league for a few seasons, and I don't think he's in the question in terms of longevity.
Yeah.
So left back.
Left back, we're going left to right.
Yeah.
Ashley Cole, bit of a no-brainer. I just think he was the full package in terms of bombing up and down the left side. Extremely good defensively, which is slightly more rare for a fullback these days. But he was an invincible. He then had one of the greatest. He was in probably the 2 greatest Premier League teams in terms of the Invincibles, and then the first Chelsea Premier League win, I think 05-06, or no, the next one. Then won the Champions League. So yeah, that was kind of a no-brainer for me.
Do you remember Ashley Cole much at Arsenal?
He was there a couple of seasons when I was kind of watching. Yeah.
So yeah, I've also gone for Ashley Cole. Champions League winner, 3 times Premier League winner, 7 times FA Cup winner, 148 clean sheets in 384 games. Yeah. Pretty good.
I reckon he's got a decent attacking record as well.
Yeah.
I reckon he's got a few goals, a few assists.
Yeah. So Leighton Baines also sprung to mind at left back for me.
Yeah.
Most assists ever in the Premier League as a defender, 53.
Yeah.
Wow. He got 85 goals and assists in total, Leighton Baines, so he added quite a lot to him. I put Evra also sprung to mind. Yeah. 5 Premier League titles, 3 of them coming in his first 3 seasons at Man United as soon as he joined. Yeah. And then finally, Dennis Irwin also sprung to mind. 7 Premier League titles
I've heard
in 10 seasons, and a treble winner. But again, I went for Ashley Cole because I actually remember him at Chelsea. I don't remember him as much at Arsenal, but he was still an unbelievable player at Chelsea. I only ever heard stories of how good Owen was, and probably couldn't do him justice talking about him. But yeah, for me, Ashley Cole. So I think both of us agree.
Yeah.
Centre backs.
Do you want both of them?
I feel like we're gonna clash here. Go on.
So I've gone for not just individually, not because of how they played together for England. But I've gone Terry and Ferdinand.
Okay, so I've gone Terry as well.
You've gone Terry. You haven't gone Ferdinand.
I've gone Terry, but not Ferdinand.
Interesting. I've gone Terry because in terms of leader, I'd probably have him as my captain.
Captain club and country.
Exactly. He's no nonsense. I think you need one of those centre backs in the back four. He's not going to back out of any challenge. He'll stand up to anything. His record speaks for himself. One of obviously the start of the Abramovich era. Took Chelsea to some ridiculous number of titles.
Five times
Champions League. And I've gone Ferdinand because slightly different style centre back, a bit more ball player, can drop and sweep as well.
6 Premier League titles.
6 Premier League titles, so 11 between them. You can't really go wrong. Partnership with, in my opinion, the best defensive partnership Premier League seen in terms of Vidic and Ferdinand. I've gone for the Ferdinand instead of Vidic because I think Vidic is too similar to Terry.
So I was making more of a hypothetical team. I understand that Terry and Vidic wouldn't necessarily make the best partnership, but I've gone for Vidic. 211 appearances, 95 clean sheets.
It's very good.
5 times Premier League winner.
Yeah.
7th on all-time headed clearances in the Premier League in just over 200 games. He's the only defender to win 2 Premier League players of the Premier League Player of the Seasons.
Yeah.
Of over 350 players that have played 200 Premier League games, Vidic has the highest win rate out of them all. He won 71% of his Premier League games. He was a beast, and I feel like he made Ferdinand that much better.
Yeah. And
yes, he was in the Premier League for less time than Ferdinand, but he was an absolute monster. And I've gone for Terry as well. Rooney said he was the toughest opponent to ever play against.
Yeah.
I feel like Rooney's played against
some pretty good players.
And I think Terry, I think it's true. He speaks
to
for
be
himself.
honest, it could be any 2 of those 3. I don't think you can really go wrong with any of them.
I think also there's an argument. So I've written a few others down.
Go on.
Tony Adams.
Yeah, Mr. Arsenal.
Don't see
why not.
115 clean sheets under 2 managers. Company.
Yeah, changed the game for City.
4 times Premier League winner. Another great leader, but I obviously didn't have him because I chose Terry. And then Jaap Stam.
Oh yeah.
Brucey.
Yeah.
Desailly.
Any more Man U players you want to throw in there?
Oh, and then I had Desailly. Arsenal. And
Arsenal?
Chelsea, sorry.
Yeah, and then you've got Sol Campbell.
Sol Campbell, who was an Arsenal player, and also his best player.
Convincing.
And then I also wrote down Van Dijk.
Yes.
Another new one.
Similar category to Alisson.
Yeah. Had an incredible couple of seasons under Liverpool. Changed the game slightly, but I still don't think warrants an all-time spot yet. Not warranted yet. Not yet. Right back.
Oh.
Now this is I struggle with right back. I really.
Do you know what? Going through this, I realised. I think every single position, the Premier League has had a contender for the greatest of all time in that position, except right back.
Yeah.
Going through, I've gone for Gary Neville. I really didn't want to go for Gary Neville.
Interesting.
The reason I've gone for Gary Neville is I think just his stats, his longevity, the amount of times he won, captain. He could do a bit going forward. He's obviously a lot better at defending, and I think, yeah, I couldn't think of anyone else who would quite outshine him.
I've gone for a player who still plays.
Yeah.
Slightly controversial. I've gone for Azpilicueta. I know he plays centre
Says
back
that.
now. I know he plays centre back now, but he started at right back. Champions League winner, 2 times Premier League winner, 113 clean sheets in 326 games. He's bought for just $6.5 million for Chelsea, which is an absolute bargain. Here's a fun fact for you. Cesar Azpilicueta has the 3rd most completed passes ever in the Premier League. He has more completed passes than Cesc Fabregas.
Wow.
He's also 7th in all-time tackles, and he's another leader.
Yeah.
Really solid. I think he brings goals from a right back and from a centre back spot. And I just think, in terms of a cool, calm head on the pitch, Azpi provides that. I really like watching him play even now. I think he's.
I actually don't think they're 2 dissimilar players.
No.
Can both fit in at centre back. Definitely both better defending than they are going forward, but can do a bit of a job. Again, another one could have been one of maybe 2 or 3.
And there's others I've written down. Interesting to see what you think of these. Lee Dixon.
Yeah.
I'm
not sure how.
4 Premier League titles, 3 FA Cups. He's very defensive, very, very defensive.
4 Premier Leagues, didn't realise that. Good old Lee.
And then obviously I had Neville written down. 8 Premier League titles.
Yeah.
And then Ivanovic, I thought about but I just thought Azpilicueta is a better version of him.
Yeah.
And I had again Trent and Walker written down. Now they both have their faults, but they're modern fullbacks. Who Trent provides something going forwards, which none of the other right backs we've ever talked about have provided. Assists, free kicks, crossing is just unbelievable. Even if all of these guys outshine him defensively, but that is the modern day fullback and how it's going to keep progressing. I think so. I think but I don't think they warrant an all-time spot yet.
No, I think.
Although Walker, I think,
I to
could
be honest,
become a
I
conversation.
think Reece James might well be in that conversation in sort of 10 years. Because I think he's a bit like Ashley Cole in that he can do everything. I think he's better defensively than Trent. Potentially Walker as well, but I think he can do a lot going forward. So give it time.
But I think that's a conversation and a position that could be updated very soon.
Absolutely.
Have you gone for a midfield 3?
I have. So my formation is 4. I've gone for a 4-2-1-3.
Okay.
Or a 4-2-3-1.
Okay.
It can be.
I've gone for a 4-4-2, but a 4-4-2 with a diamond.
Old school.
To fit in 4 centre midfielders effectively.
Right. Okay.
All
right. You've gone four midfielders.
Yeah.
That are all centre midfielders.
Pretty much.
I'm looking forward to who you're missing out up front.
Yeah,
George.
I know. I know. It's interesting.
But we'll see. Okay. How do you want to do this?
Let's do. I'll do my 4 first. Because you can go first, I know this practically wouldn't work in real life because there's none of them can really hold that well.
I've gone for a similar issue. Yeah.
So
it's an attacking midfield.
It's a very attacking midfield. Vieira.
Yeah.
Lampard. Vieira. Lampard, Scholes.
So Vieira at the base.
Yeah.
Lampard
Scholes.
And Gerrard 10.
Yaya up top. Yaya at the can.
Toure.
Yaya Toure. How can you put Steven Gerrard in the Premier League all times when he didn't even win a Premier League?
Sorry, you've gone Yaya Toure.
Yes.
Have you got any stats to back this up?
Well,
I bet you haven't got any Gerrard stats down there, have you?
In terms of Premier League wins, all of those have won Premier League, minus Gerrard. And for me, and then to be a Premier League all-time great, you've got to win the Premier League. Simple as that.
I do have one question.
Yeah.
No, I understand you.
And it was a toss-up between Gerrard and Lampard, because I know probably saying it through slightly red-clouded glasses, but for me, Paul Scholes is the best of the three. So he was in there.
Yeah.
When you're talking about a guy who's won 11 Premier League titles, he has to go in the Premier League all-time 11. He's got as many Premier League titles as there's players on the pitch. Like, that is outrageous.
Yeah, that's a good number. I like that stat.
Lampard was better going forward, had more goals and assists than Gerrard. And therefore, for me, I preferred watching Lampard. I thought he put it all into the game, and I understand that Gerrard was held back by the team that he was in, and he wasn't in a very good team. And he pulled them, got them a Champions League, and he single-handedly got them to the FA Cup and whatever. But that was like, he chose to stay at Liverpool, and it's why Matt Le Tissier is hampered and things like that. But when you're talking about a Premier League all-time 11, I just feel like if you haven't won a Premier League, it's hard to put you in there when there's so many good players rolling around.
Yeah.
And Yaya Toure, those 3 seasons that he had, was just incredible. And people forget how good he was. He was unbelievable. I was watching his highlights back today, and he was so good.
My issue is not that you've picked Lampard and Scholes over Gerrard. But
No.
I'm fine with that. I understand it. And we'll get on to this. But you've missed a fair few people out. If you've only got 2 up front, you've missed a fair few people out to include Yaya Toure.
And just go home and watch him, because he was so good. He was like the best midfielder in the world for those 3 years, without doubt. He was so good.
I know. I've no doubt he was good.
And for me, if I was picking a team of like people of Premier League in their prime, I've got to have Yaya.
Okay, fair enough. That's fine. It's everyone's opinion,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it is.
I've not gone for that.
Have you gone for 3 of the same?
I've gone for 2 of the same. So I've got 2 in front of the back 4 of Gerrard and Vieira.
Interesting.
Vieira, because I think he's the most complete central midfielder that the Premier League's seen.
Let's take a little bit of context to Vieira here. I was football training. We played, sometimes we played the same football team.
Yeah.
And we went to the pub last night. Michael told me to go and watch. We had a little chat about our midfielders, and Michael told me to go and look up Vieira highlights. And
did you do it?
I went in and watched Vieira highlights and stats,
Am I
and
right?
that's why he makes my team. I was too young for Vieira.
Yeah.
And I didn't quite appreciate how good he was, I think.
I
was originally going to have Kante in instead of Vieira
Yeah.
as a holding. But I think one, because of Vieira's done it, the longevity, he's completed his time now. Until he was, from bits that I saw last night, obviously I was watching his highlights, so you don't get to see necessarily the full complete. But he was just,
He just
had it all.
everything.
That's the thing.
And he had the legs to get up and down, score, assist, tackle. Big.
That's the thing that I think
intimidating.
stood out for me over why I probably ended up picking him over Kante, was his ability to score.
Yeah.
And like Kante does score, but not
yeah.
like Vieira scored.
So I've gone Vieira and I've gone Gerrard. Now the reason I've gone Gerrard is because I know he hasn't won a Premier League. But if you're looking at ability, and I want the best players in this team, I can't not put him in. I think he's the best passer. I know you'll say Scholes. I know you'll say Scholes.
Was the best
I
pass.
know, maybe like not long range. Someone who can pick up a ball just in front of their penalty box and just ping one onto Suarez's toe.
Yeah, but I'm talking about Scholes, who could pick the ball up on the edge of the box and thread the ball like nobody else could, like in the little tight slots. Like the countless goals that led to was just...
Yeah, to be honest, I could have put Scholes in. It was between Gerrard and Scholes. again, I probably saw more of Gerrard than I did Scholes, so I'll probably pick Gerrard a bit more on that. I think in the big occasion, that is the other thing. I think Gerrard turns up in the big occasion, Istanbul, all the way through that Champions League, FA Cup finals. I just think he rises to the occasion. I'd have him in my side. I think that those two in the middle, Vieira and Gerrard. And then, look, that's my case, George.
Yeah.
Right? It could quite easily have been Scholes, to be fair. And then, I also think he's a bit more of a leader than Scholes.
But I think the leader argument would make sense if you were building a club.
That's a good point.
But when you said your captain's already John Terry, you don't need.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
And
then, so yeah, I've got those two in front of the back four, and then just in front of them, in maybe slightly further forward than he normally played. I'd like him to drop and help out the two in midfield as well. I've got Lampard.
Okay.
Did you have Lampard?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you can not have Lampard with how many goals he scored, the runs he makes, the positions he takes up. I think, he's any goals from midfield is just going to boost, particularly in a big team, boost your title chances massively. The likes of Yaya, as you've said, helped City to win the title. So that I've gone the three of Gerrard, Vieira, and Lampard. Yeah, I think that's probably the best three you could ever have possibly gone for.
Minus Scholes. Maybe sprinkle some Yaya in there. I know Yaya is controversial, but for me, when I was really getting into football, Yaya was the forefront of probably why I'm seeing it a lot. Yaya was the forefront of midfield, and I remember growing up as a Man United fan and just being envious of City having this player who could do it all, and just he was so big but just glided past players and then just struck it from 25 yards out and would just put it in the back of the net. And there was so many times when he did that. Just Google it, it's insane. But I think players that missed out, Ryan Giggs on 600 appearances.
Yeah, I think formation didn't help.
Helping, no.
If we had wingers, he'd be straight in. Him and Perez could.
Yeah, I think Giggsy missed out. I think
Keno,
Letitia,
Kante, as you said.
Kante, De Bruyne. Even I know he's still playing, but some of the stuff he's done is just incredible. But yeah, I mean, Cantona, if he wanted to play him as the cam, if he wanted to, again misses out.
Granit Xhaka.
Sambi Lokonga. The big names, they really.
Big names, I haven't got in there.
So then, from two.
I'm looking forward to hearing this.
And
go on, George. You go first. Who's your front two?
Henry.
Correct.
Aguero.
I was not expecting that.
I know. And Ronaldo misses out purely because he is the absolute GOAT of all time, and he's
bar Messi, but yeah.
Ronaldo is the GOAT, and
bar Messi.
Ronaldo is the GOAT, but going off Premier League all time, I can't not put Gerrard in because he won the Premier League title, and then put Ronaldo in when Ronaldo's best years were in the Liga, and he was good, really good in the Premier League, like so good, especially in the early years. Not talking as much really on the comeback, but he was also a left winger for me, and the formation therefore didn't help. There you go. That's why he's not in for me.
I mean, you're actually a Man U fan as well.
I know, and I'm the biggest Ronaldo fanboy.
He actually won a Ballon d'Or while in the Premier League, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
His final season in the Premier League, he scored, I'm just going to quickly research this, something like 40 goals. They're not in all comps.
But, yeah, we're talking about he had like
When did he leave? 2009.
yes. What is it? But okay, let's just the reason that I couldn't put him there was because he started off and he was always good at United. He was really good, but he's not a Premier. For me, he doesn't make it in my Premier League all-time 11, and that's purely because he's a Premier League all-time 11. And it really hurt me not to put him in. But I think if I'm being honest, Henry is the greatest Premier League striker. And it was a toss-up between Shearer and Aguero for me. But Aguero just brought it on the big stage. Go on, huh?
We didn't have as good a last season as I thought. But 33 Premier League games, 18 goals.
Yeah. He did.
He took you to the title.
Did he win the Ballon d'Or when he was at United?
I'm sure he won the Ballon d'Or 2008.
I don't think he did.
2009.
I think Messi won it for 3 years in a row before him.
Ronaldo, Ballon d'Or.
Wins.
2008. 2008. So it's 0708. Let's have a look at his 0708. That must have been a bit dreamy. Keep going.
But still, so I just think, although he might have had a good season in 2007 and 8, we're talking about Henry and Aguero who has...
Oh yeah, that's the season I'm thinking about. 34 games in the Premier League, 31 goals. 42 in all comps.
Well, yeah, he had a class season that season. I'm not taking anything away from Ronaldo, but in terms of longevity in the Premier League at their peak, Henry and Aguero would take it on the Premier League all-time 11 for me.
So your whole reasoning
for not
just
having
falls down because you've claimed he's the GOAT.
Well, he is. Yeah.
No, you've claimed he's the GOAT, and he played in the Premier League for how many seasons? What, from 03? 03 to 09?
03 till... He left in 09. January.
So what, 6 seasons?
Yeah. And his first, how old was he when he was first year?
He won a Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, but we're talking, he had two, three exceptional seasons. Really, 2 exceptional seasons in the Premier League.
That's fine.
But how many exceptional seasons did Henry have?
I'm not saying don't put Henry in.
And how many exceptional seasons did Aguero have?
I don't know.
Well, think about how long he's been around for, how many goals he scored, and how...
Did he? Yeah, he would have done. All-time Premier League goals.
Aguero and Henry both outscored Ronaldo.
How much by?
Ronaldo's only just hit 100.
Must have been... Has he? Okay, that's fine. If that's what you want to go with.
Yeah.
I fundamentally disagree, but if that's what you want to go with.
And okay, that's my choice.
Right.
I was trying to do it for a non-biased lens as well.
You don't have to do it for a non-biased lens to put Cristiano Ronaldo in the all-time.
Go on, why have you put him in then?
You don't know that I put him in.
I can see on your phone. You have him.
I've got a front three with Ronaldo on the right forward. I'll explain why in a minute, because
Never played there.
he did. Early on, he played there. Rooney down the middle, and Henry on the left. Rooney down the middle, because I think
Rooney never lived up to the potential he had.
what?
Rooney never lived up to the potential he had. As a United fan, he was still a great, and he would always be a United icon. But I've watched how good he was when he first joined United, and he had the potential to. And how long he was in the Premier League, and he didn't even get close to Shearer's record.
Yeah, but he played,
and as he got older, and some of the other guys stopped playing as much, your gigs and you weren't in their prime and stuff. He tailed off as well. He wasn't carrying the team he wasn't that. He was never quite that leader we needed from him.
The reason I put him in is because
But I love him. I love him.
I think any big match he turns up.
I like Aguero would do the same.
I think Rooney does more. Personally, I think he turns up because I think Aguero. I don't know. Maybe just more of a presence from Rooney in terms of bullying centre backs. Obviously, his goal scoring record is, he's second highest in the Premier League. But his assists as well. That season when you got Van Persie, which hurt me to the core. He dropped back.
Rooney offers that thing that none of the others really do, which was that ability to drop deeper, and he always sacrificed that. As a United player, he was always willing to sacrifice, especially during our glory days. He was always willing to be that number two, always willing to let Van Persie score the more goals, even with like Berbatov and stuff, he was always willing to let them score more goals and for him to be a bit more creative, which makes sense.
And I think he kind of suits the formation I've gone with. So with Ronaldo and Henry, I don't think you need Aguero. I think I would rather have. Henry was so good because he had Bergkamp.
Aguero, the fox in the box.
Yeah, he's the fox in the box, but
Henry and Ronaldo running down the wings.
No, right.
This
is what I need to clear up. Henry is running inside the left channel. He's not running. He's not playing left wing.
He's playing a Salah.
No, he's not playing a Salah.
He's
not
playing
a Salah.
He is.
That
Salah plays a right forward role.
No, he's not playing a Salah. He's playing an Henry. He's not running to the byline. He's running inside the fullback for Rooney to just slot one in, and he's coming in this way.
So he's playing more of
Ronaldo can just do what he wants.
Current Harry Kane role.
He's the second greatest of all time in the history of football. And Rooney just suits that formation. Goals, assists, leader, turns up in the big games. Could have been many, to be honest with you, in that position.
Would you say that would you be upset if Aguero was in there with Rooney?
No, I wouldn't be upset.
And would you be upset if Shearer was in there over Rooney?
I would change the formation probably. If it was Aguero and Rooney, I'd change it somehow.
Okay.
Because I would want Aguero or Shearer up top with Henry.
Okay.
But Rooney does maybe a little bit more of the Bergkamp role. Because he was another one that missed out. In terms of quality of player, Bergkamp.
Yeah, I did think about Bergkamp as well, but I thought Henry was clear. So then, on the spot, and who would you have to manage that whole team?
It's toss up, isn't it? Since Sir Alex Ferguson and Unai Emery. No, I think you can't not go for Sir Alex. Even with Pep in there at the moment, my next one would be Wenger. A little bit Arsenal tinted glasses, but I think the Invincibles just puts you in a category that's.
I would agree. I think as well, if you're just someone like practically thinking someone to manage your Premier League all-time 11, the personalities that are in here, you'd need a Wenger or a Sir Alex to deal with the big personality. I'm not sure how Pep would do with all the big personalities.
The only thing I would push on Wenger, and I am going Sir Alex just to be clear.
Yeah.
But the only thing I'd push on Wenger is the change. So if it this may be a bit. I probably wouldn't quite say this, but I think Sir Alex was so good because of Wenger. So when he came in, he changed the whole culture of English football, bringing in foreign players, changing diets, no alcohol, all of this. First foreign manager, I think, in the Premier League. I may be wrong.
I'm not sure that's.
I thought I heard that the other day, but I may be wrong. I don't know, but. He came in, He came in from Japan, had no track record, changed everything. It then influenced the whole of. He then dominated the Premier League for a good 5-6 years, 3 titles, 2 FA Cups, I think it was. Could have won more titles. And then other people caught up. It wasn't an error because the Emirates is a lot better than Highbury. Building the stadium was a big setback for him. And getting in the Champions League every season, which we Arsenal fans now realise was quite a big effort with Shamak up front. And I don't even know who was alongside Shamak.
Yeah. Abue.
Yeah, Squalacci at the back. And he got a top 4 every time. But however many, 13 titles was it? That Sir Alex won? Something mental, ludicrous like that. Yeah, I think it's got to be him.
Yeah. I think, I grew up with Sir Alex. It's like the squad that he used to have. Like,
he's not losing any of the players away. He's the most scariest man.
No.
Like, all the players are just going to cling on his every word.
Yeah, like he dealt with some massive players, and he dealt with a huge personalities like Cantona. So he know how to deal with that kind of stuff. And also, he also took the likes of Tom Cleverley, John O'Shea to Premier League titles. So I just think for me, he's the greatest Premier League manager. And I think, in time, Pep, Klopp, they're going to win a few more. But I actually don't think that's. I don't think we're going to see a manager as dominant as Wenger and Ferguson for a long time.
And stay at one club for that amount of time.
No,
it's just unheard of. So, fair play.
Go on then. As we're ending up, go on. Give us your complete team run through from bottom to top. So.
Bottom to top.
Give us your team run through.
Okay, here we go. Peter Schmeichel in goal. Start of my team with the front 4, left to right Cole, Terry, Ferdinand, Neville. Sitting in front of them, Gerrard and Vieira. Just in front of them, Frank Lampard. And then a front 3, I'd say interchanging, that's how I'd want them to play, of Ronaldo, Rooney and Henry, with Sir Alex on the sidelines.
And for me, Schmeichel in goal, Ashley Cole and Azpilicueta at fullbacks, with Vidic and John Terry at centre half, Vieira in front of them, with Lampard, Scholes and Yaya interchanging, with Henry and Aguero up top, and Sir Alex managing.
The one thing that I'm going to end on this, in terms of my argument, is I've just heard you say that, and I've looked at my 11. I think we're beating you quite comfortably.
I really don't.
I really do. You've actually... Yeah, I think we're taking you apart there.
Well,
with that front 3, Ronaldo, Rooney and Henry. What width have you got? That's my issue.
Again, we weren't building a practical team, we're building a hypothetical team here. But I think in the comments, let us know what you think of our teams. Also, there'll be links to Mike's socials and content at Mr. Sport Stuff. Make sure you check it out. And feel free to drop Mike, follow on Instagram, and then a comment or a DM or something about what you thought of his team, what you would change. Because it'd be great to see Mr. Sports numbers fly up.
Yeah. Any tennis tips that they want?
Any tennis tips they want. If they want some coaching and you live in Essex, get in contact with Mike.
Top tennis tips.
But yeah, it was a great time. I hope you enjoyed filming that.
Really enjoyed. Thank you for having me, George.
I hope you come back at some point.
Absolutely, I will.
I feel there's a time lined up for Arsenal all-time 11 versus Man United all-time 11, and we could to make a combined Arsenal and United 11, and we'll do it with you and Ben, and I'll get another United fan.
Does one still exist?
Maybe Toby Power, something like that.
Yeah.
We can go on either side of the table. We can put together all-time Premier League United v Arsenal 11. We'll get a mediator to hear the arguments and put players in depending on the arguments, but. So hopefully we'll get you back on soon.
And I'd just like to say that this time last year, Arsenal had lost their first 2 games of the season, and we were rock bottom of the league. And granted, we had just lost 5-0 to Manchester City
Yeah.
with 10 men. We hadn't lost 4-0 away at Brentford with the greatest of all time starting. But I just want to say I know where you
The greatest of all time that you've got in your Premier League all time 11.
Well, if Messi had played in the Premier League, he'd wallop straight in.
No, but I'm saying
All I'm
if the guy
saying-
loses 4-0 to Brentford in your Premier League.
All I'm saying is I feel for you. I know what you're feeling
Thank you.
right now.
Be supportive. don't be horrible to me. It's a tough time. Just before we leave,
Yeah.
ending comment: is football coming home in Christmas? No Christmas.
It's coming, no. It's coming.
Heard it here first. Right. See you guys later.